I mean, on the face of it, it seems to be extremely good news, but is it enough? And will it go far enough?
Well, I think, the devil as ever is in the detail. I mean, 2.5% by the end of the decade is a significant amount of money. Let's be clear about that. But if you look at it's defence spending over the next 2 or 3 years at the moment on current predictions is going to flatline at about 45 billion. And with inflation running as it is, and inflation tends to be worse militarily, equipment and fuel costs and so on really impact on the military. So you could find that actually it is not enough. And don't forget, and you trailed this earlier, we are cutting the British Army by a further 10,000 posts.
Is that, forgive me though, is that still going to stand? Because you can't, it seems absolutely ludicrous on one hand to say we're going to increase defence spending, while still on the other hand saying we're still going to cut the numbers.
Well, I mean, I think this is the really difficult issue now. I mean, what do you spend that money on? And if you look at what's happening in Ukraine, and that's what everybody will be modelling their new force structures on, a lot of it is attritional. A lot of casualties being taken. The Ukrainians taking perhaps as much as 1,000 people being killed and wounded on a daily basis. So you need mass if you're going to do that. Do we have the appetite for that? Are we going to go for much smarter, more agile forces where you're using drones and other capabilities? Look at the vulnerabilities of our platforms, like the Queen Elizabeth aircraft carrier, taken out by a single missile. So I think the force structure and how you spend the money is a really challenging thing. I'm an ex-infantry officer, parachute regiment, cutting another 10,000 posts, because in the end, you do need people, no matter how sophisticated.
But that seems to be the lesson of this war, in that maybe military thinking before this was it's all down to drones and robots and cyber and everything. But this has taught us that, it's a bit more of an old-fashioned ground war that's needed, or it's going to happen.
Absolutely. So you're going to need a combination of both, and you also need to invest in your training and your equipment programs, and make sure that you've got lots of people at readiness, ready to deploy. And you can see that NATO are moving that way. But that'll take a long time to deliver.